Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Right, some tool time. Today we're going to make a start on the black Hayabusa and start having a look at these this shock, swing arm and suspension bush bearings. First job, get up on the ABBA Skylift, which I've been using for a while, but for the first time today I've got to use the swing arm removal kit. Big heavy bike. That seems to be an awful lot of weight to put on two sort of M8 bolts, but they say it worked, we'll give it a go. So without further ado, let's get the bike up in the air. Well, there you go. She's up in the air. Gotta love this ABBA stand. First time using this swing arm mounting kit. It seems sturdy enough. So let's get on with it. Right. So the next stage is to get the chain off. No, it's the wheel itself. Or is what's in it. So that's a wheel out. So let's crack this brake. Okay. Even though I probably won't be getting on it today, what I'm going to do is give the various nuts and bolts a coat of fast release penetrant just to help things out, hopefully. 'cause I've certainly never had these apart, so I'm not sure they've been apart in the 21 years the bike's been around. So I'll probably come out a couple of times. I'll probably come out a couple of times during the afternoon and just give them another little bit of a coat. But yeah, as you can see, it's quite dirty in there. So yeah, it's going to be good. Get those bearings changed, get everything cleaned up. Same with the swing arm, and yeah, hopefully the rear end will match the front end that I rebuilt last year. Fingers crossed. She's gone. That's good. Oh, I was expecting that to be a lot worse than that. Yeah, I don't think you can see that, but the light's not great in it. But sometimes this is a complete twat to get off, but fortunately that was actually quite straightforward. Again, don't know if it's ever been off or not. Certainly not once in the time I've had the bike, but yeah, no corrosion, looks good. Excellent. Let's see how this other side does. One thing I am noticing, having a camera in the way on the tripod is quite off-putting. So well done to all you people that do it all the time. Hang on, that's going to need a little bit more persuasion, I think. Again, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's very clean. I did have to retreat. I tried to undo it. It was really on there. So I gave it a squirt of release spray and then left it for a while, and then came back to it. I forgot, already broke it, and then thought I didn't film it. So if it looked like that came off really easy, you missed a good bit. Which is good, because I had to get brutal with it, because it was on there. So yeah, that's actually a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be. There's a little bit of a snot on the thread, but yeah, nothing's not going to clean up. It's really good. Happy chappy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosely put that back on there for now, because obviously I've got to do the same with the rear linkage nuts and bolts now. So it's just nice to keep it all together for the time being. Right, typically the battery died, and there's me waffling away, working away, and none of it recorded. So let me just bring you back up to speed. As you can see, things escalated a little bit. So basically, when I went to get all this lower shock mount off, the bolts on there are absolutely solid. I tried plus, multiple coats of plus gas, heat, you name it, I threw it, and yeah, didn't budge. So I had to go a slightly different route. So what I had to do, I've managed to get the shock out. Obviously, as you can see, I've taken the tank off, the battery out, etc., etc. Because what I actually had to do was take the top mount out of the shock. Then I managed to get the bottom mount of the shock out. So I've managed to get the shock off, and by hook or by crook, I've now got to get the rest of the suspension linkage off. But Here's the bits I've taken off so far. So that is the lower shock mount bolt. Now, as you can see, that is absolutely corroded. Fought me all the way. Nothing I can do about it. So I thought, well, they're all rusty, which they probably are. But then I had problems with the top shock mount bolt, which is here. And as you can see, that is all right. There's one little patch, one little speck of rust on it there, but that's actually really clean. So I think it's actually a combination. I think it's actually a combination between, obviously on that other bolt, corrosion, but I think the last person to come in here, absolutely just, I don't think they knew what a torque wrench was. And I think they've hung off it like an ape. Because I had my impact gun, I mean, you name it, I had it on there and I couldn't get it to budge. I'd say those two, as you can see, you know, I've grollied the crap out of them, which is all right. They're off, so I will. I'm going to be putting new bolts on there anyway. Once they've gone like that, I can't be bothered. Then, you know, they're not big money. So, and there's the shock that's coming off, which actually there's no sort of there's no leaking on the seals and that. I mean, the rubber, it's in better days, but there's actually, it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do with that shock is, I won't do it myself because I haven't got all the stuff to service and the oil and getting the seals and etc. So that at some point after Christmas, I'll box it up, ship it off, and I'll have that refurbed because obviously I've got 2 Hayabusas. And you know, I like to keep them original. I could get an aftermarket shock, but to be honest, they're not actually that expensive to have overhauled. So that will be the shock that's going back on for now. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to remove the swing arm itself, get the swing arm off and out the way, and then I'm going to have a crack at these other suspension mounts, linkage mounts. But as I say, they're absolutely toast. So wish me luck. As I say, it's a shame. Something interesting happens and the battery ran out. But we're back in the game now. So let's crack on. I did pre-loosen this, so this should undo just fine. I knew it was going too well with the other bolts. But the unfortunate thing is the suspension linkage and the shock, obviously, if you use the bike in rough weather, that's what's going to take the brunt of it. And they didn't have any grease on. So always grease them up, guys. But it never sees, whatever your particular poison is. So I didn't think this had been done since the factory, but they were too torqued. So I think somebody has been in here at some point. Right, there we have it. The swing arm's out. Okay, we'll move on to that another time. I want to focus on these other stuck bolts at the moment. So, yeah, here we go. you may hear me keep referring to plus gas and then seeing a can of WD-40. I'm not using the normal WD-40 because obviously, as everyone knows, that's a water displacer, not a fast penetrant as such. So I'm actually using the WD-40 fast release penetrant at the moment because the supplier I used didn't actually have any plus gas at the time, but they had this. I'm sure it's just as good. So same thing, different tin, I'd imagine. Right. So because this nut and bolt here is absolutely graunched on, what I'm going to try and do is take this one out. I can have the linkage away then on the bench because I'm not convinced that I'm going to end up having to cut this off. The exhaust here, I was going to take this off. On the Hayabusa, this part of the exhaust actually comes off to allow you access to these bolts. As I was undoing it, the clamp snapped on that, typical. And again, I can't really get in there at the moment to get it out. There's a bit of corrosion or whatever there. So as I say, I'm not doing this how I would normally do it. Let's put it that way. When I did the copper Hayabusa, it was a lot easier. But as I say, it's a garage queen. It's had a bit of a charmed life, whereas this obviously been used in all sorts of weather. So yeah, let's try and get this one off. You're going to see me beating my cheap spanner with a hammer, but needs must, I'm afraid. Tell you now, you are not going to win. Right, I gave it another couple of coats of plus gas. And I've left it for a couple more hours, and I have just tried it and I have managed to loosen it off. Again, an absolute bastard. It'd be interesting to see the condition of this bolt. So say guys, I can't recommend it enough. Always make sure, and if the bolt's coming out that dry, I haven't got much hope for the bearing really. I can't lie, that was emotional. I have changed hundreds and hundreds of bearings, and by far they were the worst ones I have ever done. Let me show you why. So there we go. Right, that's all the bearings out the suspension link. I haven't cleaned anything. This is all as it's come out. Look at that. Absolutely bone dry. Not a speck of grease anywhere. Absolutely minimal inside the bearing as well. But the problem is, the bearings are sort of like, you can't really see it where you can see it sort of. But the bearings are corroded in place. I have got, you name it, the bearing puller kit, everything, and nothing touched it. In the end, I had to resort to brute force and heat, and I didn't video. The video just ran, but I was sort of walking all around the workshop, so I apologise for that. The whole point was supposed to show you how to get the bearings out and that, but yeah, failed on that, on this particular one. As I say, worst ones I've ever done in how many years? 30 odd years. I say, so we got again nothing's been cleaned. That is all exactly how it's come out. Just nothing. there's no lubrication in there whatsoever. Those bearings, honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't even said to. You probably can't see it, but there's just nothing in there. Absolutely solid. I should have, in fairness, I should have done this when I first got the bike. But when I first got the bike, I didn't have a garage or anything, so everything was out on the driveway and a bit of a pain. So I did a lot of work to the bike, wheel bearings and stuff like that. But yeah. So anyway, it's God knows what time, Christmas Eve. The missus is going to be getting the hump with me, so I'm going to give it a rest for a couple of days, and then I'll pick this up, and I will video the getting the Swingarm bearings out. I'm really looking forward to that now. And I'll carry on the video, show you how to press the bearings in, and show those who don't seem to know how to put the grease in the bearings. So yeah, until then, I'll catch you in a bit. Right, another little update. It's about 2 o'clock Christmas morning. Everyone's gone to bed, and I'm just laying there thinking of Swingarm bearings. So I thought, pop out, have a smoke, and just have a quick look. So yeah, anyway, this is what I found. As you can see, all the little bits and pieces I've managed to get off. They all came off really well, really easy. No dramas whatsoever. But, and there is a but, if I turn the swing arm around without knocking everything flying. So I thought I'd just have just wipe it over and have a look. So I started cleaning down here, and lo and behold, it's got a hoofing great big crack right through the swing arm pivot. I don't know if you can see that side, but yeah, it's there again. If I let me get the light over it. But again, look at the state of that. It's just, you know, I normally pack that out with grease. Yeah, all rusted, etc. But yeah, the worry is, look, that's cracked. It's gone right through there, and it's propagated along. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, that. So so now this quick job, this so-called short video, has resulted in I've now got to wait for the bolts to be delivered. God knows when they arrive. I've ordered them, but I can only assume that no one's going to be in over Christmas there, and that's if they've got them in stock. So I'm waiting for all the nuts and bolts for the linkage, and now I'm going to have to scour the owners group and the Hayabusa owners group on Facebook, and yeah, an eBay or wherever, and I'm going to have to try and find another swing arm. Now the thing is you know, well, I used to do it years ago, but that could actually be repaired and drilled, sorry, welded, and then flatted off. But I don't have access to all the welding stuff anymore. So yeah, the cost of having that fixed, I can pick up a second-hand swing arm. New swing arms, a couple of £1,000, just over £2,000, I believe. But you know, you can see them on eBay for sort of like, I was looking this evening when I found this, and you know, they sort of start at 50 quid and go up to about £100. So and there's a few. So I don't think there's no dramas trying to get hold of a new you know, second-hand swing arm, but just completely typical of this job so far. As I say, it's supposed to be a, you know, relatively straightforward job, and it's turned into a bloody nightmare. You know, everything can go wrong, has gone wrong. But let me just spin the swing arm around. then get the light in, and look, you can see, look at the state of that. Unbelievable. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So say the quick job, because I didn't want the bike off the road for too long in case we get a bit of nice weather. It's turned into a bloody nightmare. The rear wheel bearings, everything like that, that's all fine. I replaced those when I first got the bike. The Hayabusa is notorious for eating wheel bearings. So that side of it's all good. But yeah, Jesus. I took the, when I first got it, when I was recommissioning the copper Hayabusa over there, I took all the linkage and shock off that and gave everything a good grip, and that went absolutely fine. That was a doddle. So I thought, oh well, this video will be a nice short one. How wrong can you be? So yeah, that's it. So I think what I'd have to do now is say I'm waiting for bolts. So I've got a source of Swingarm, so I'm going to end this video here. Apologies for the bits that are missing. I say, I've had batteries die, I've had people phoning up, and then the most annoying bit is I've got a whole load of video on the phone, some long clips that for whatever reason just comes up with an error message now and says you can't download it. So I don't know whether I'll be able to get hold of those before I put the edit in, but I'm going to leave this video here. So come back for part 2 where all the new bits will be here. Obviously I'll put the new bearings in whatever Swingarm I get my hands on, put the bearings in the suspension linkage, and then we'll get the bike back together and that, and then hopefully fingers crossed everything will go right now, because to be honest, there's not a lot more that can go wrong with it. And say it's all preventative. All you got to do is every now and again take them apart, give them a clean out and a re-grease. But yeah, it's a shame more manufacturers don't fit grease nipples there, because it'd be a real easy job there rather than to strip the whole back end of the bike down. But yeah, so there we have it. So I'll see you again in part 2 where hopefully things go a little bit better. Bye for now.